Now, we're talking a lot about perceptions and proving reality, and that you're saying that all of the physical universe is an illusion and that there's some higher plane of existence, awareness, consciousness, whatever, more ultimate reality than what we're experiencing here. You've used the Matrix analogy, that if you were inside the Matrix, how could you ever know if everything seemed so real? And you're saying that that's what our reality is, that everything seems so real that we can't see outside of the reality, that it's all an illusion and there's no way to see out of it. Yet, you're the one putting forth that there is some higher reality out there, that by your own definitions and parameters, we can never know that thing. You say that you have known this thing and have studied this thing, and that other people have too, and you've mentioned shaman and experimental drug use and things like that to achieve higher awareness, and I'm aware of all those things as well. And you also mentioned that they would commonly be dismissed as hallucination, and rightly so, I would think. I talk about reality being the physical universe and trying to separate concept from reality in order to better understand reality of the physical universe, which you would call a big illusion. There's a reality that you're experiencing, and then there's the physical reality. And I'm starting to see, by rereading our conversations, that I think that we're having a difference of definition for perception. Certainly perception is another word that has multiple definitions. Now, for the most part, I kind of get the feeling from you that when you're talking about perceptions, you're talking about what I would call our conceptual reality, what we're constructing in our brain. You keep talking about the models of things, that you can take any physical object and that's just some kind of model definition that we've created for it, and that really all things break down into atoms, and those are more models that we have given definitions to, and I certainly agree with all of that. However, there's another definition of perception that when I have been communicating with you, I have been using, and I do make a difference between using perception in this fashion and using conception in its fashion. And you mentioned that I use conceptual like it's a dirty word. And I'm not against conceptual whatevers. I just think that when you're talking about truth and validity and being faithful to reality, which is my truth definition, that truth is fidelity to reality, because if it was something that differentiated from reality, then it would no longer be true. So at least from my position versus your position, since you admittedly say that you can't offer any kind of proof, and that all proof is in my court, but it's all delusional, I would have to say that if we had any sort of measure to verify the truthfulness or the validity of anything, my side is going to have 100% of all of that. But that's not the point I'm trying to get to. I want to talk about perception. Now, when I've talked about perception and perceiving things, I'm not so much talking about the models and constructs and the, indeed, total life experience that is recorded in our brains, that is our experience. What I'm talking about when I talk about perceptions, I'm talking about the senses themselves. The eyes, the ears, the olfactory senses, your taste, the touch all over your body, equilibrium. The body has several senses, and these are the senses I'm talking about. And when I'm talking about perceiving something, I'm talking about directly using one of the senses to record data from the outside world, the phenomena, the physical reality, through whatever sense as a filter to the brain. Now, these are observable, recordable facts. Anything that we could verify by third party or more observation is going to be verified in this manner, with these things. The physical universe is what we live in and communicate in and exist in. You and Kashify and many others have tried to equate dreams with this illusion of reality. So when trying to understand, I see that there's this dream world that is 100% conceptual inside of our brains. Well, scratch that. I guess it's 99.9 conceptual, because the constructs of your dream still come from input that you have experienced through your other senses while you're awake. Then you've got the awake reality, which you say is an illusion. Then you say that there's this higher plane of existence, and it can only be reached through consciousness. Now that's an assumption on my part. If we can travel there physically or point to it in a direction or something, I would be very interested to know that, but I am making the assumption that you're talking about some kind of inner brain plane of consciousness that supersedes all of the physical universe and ties us all together as some kind of cosmic Buddha oneness. So feel free to correct me on my misunderstanding if my assumptions are incorrect. It really doesn't matter to me anyway, because this untouchable, unknowable, unprovable plane of existence that you say is the true reality can withstand no measure of measure, no measure of its validity, of its existence, no thing of any kind. Only your mental conception that it exists. So though I do believe you are experiencing something, and it might be something super normal, I won't say supernatural because then it couldn't exist at all, it would be a fairy tale, but if the normal person isn't experiencing it and you are, I would say that it's super normal. And I'll even extend the possibility to extrasensory, that maybe you're tapping into some other astral plane or of the infinite planes of existence or some other realm. What I'm getting at here, since you can offer no measure of any sort, then your higher plane of existence is as much of a fairy tale as Yahweh or Shiva or Thor. If you believe in unmeasurable fantasy, then you believe in unmeasurable fantasy. That's not reality, that's not the truth. Maybe you can enlighten me and show me the path. Do I need to meditate to achieve this higher plane of consciousness that is the ultimate truth?